We're back after a long delay with some new PLOker hands videos, and I'm going to be joined by my buddy Phil Galfond here for a few videos. We're going to be going over some hands, various PLO hands over time, and yeah, we'll talk some PLO, we'll go over some plays. Maybe in this kind of series we might have some hands that Phil played at the Scary Aim of 2 card Pot Limit Omaha as well too. But yeah, we're going to record a few videos today. And yeah, we're gonna watch some PLO videos. So you ready for some PLO? You ever watched the Great Game of Pot Limit Omaha before, Phil?
I have watched the Great Game of Pot Limit Omaha. I'm always ready for some PLO videos.
Yeah, you are definitely. I think Phil has maybe gone over more hands of PLO than anyone in the entire world at this point in time through his training site, Run It Once, and through the videos he put out there, and over the many years of PLO. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for you to take care of this hand. This is at Live at the Bike during my Pot Limit Omaha week last December, and yeah, just check this out. Yeah. I don't know.
I haven't seen it yet.
I know, I haven't told Phil what this is, but yeah, guys, let's just get into it. Let's take a look at the action. All right, guys, so we're playing 5-10 with $20 straddle here. Pot Limit Omaha. Wayne makes makes it open. My boy Wayne Chiang, Ace Jack 9-4 with the Jack 9 of clubs. He opens the button to 60. Amir, my young Facebook friend, makes a call with Ace Jack 8-7, Jack 7 diamonds, and I 3-bet the Ace King Jack 10 by doing the live pro move. When you make a 3-bet, I can see Phil doing this. You just throw out a random stack of chips instead of saying, and you just say pot, and then they're like, oh, okay, he means business. Yep. So is that a move in your arsenal too?
You know, it's not, and it should be. I usually just calculate pot, and then I'll just put it out.
All right, so what do we think about the plays here so far? So button raised by Wayne and call by Amir.
It's they're both fine, iffy, because it's 3-blind structure, right?
Yeah, it's 3 blinds right now, yeah, with the straddle on. So Wayne's the button.
So, I mean, I think this hand's not supposed to be a raise. I think you can get away with it in a lot of games where people aren't 3-betting enough. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's going to be too loose in a 3-blind structure. In a 2-blind structure, I like it.
Yeah, I like all the time, yeah. I would, especially live, I think I would raise this hand all the time if it was just... Yeah. But with the straddle, I think me and the straddle specifically, I'm probably going to be defending... pretty wide. I don't think Amir. I think the small blind very loose player. Amir. I didn't think Amir was too out of line until this hand happened. So I wouldn't expect him to be getting too crazy here. Post flop in your Wayne spot. But yeah, I think with me in the straddle, I don't know how much I'll be 3-betting just because he is pretty shallow, and I do think of him as a tighter player overall. So I do think that my 3-bet range is going to be fairly tighter. But Ace King Jack 10 seems like a pretty normal 3-bet, and then Wayne. He does not follow the rules about we don't fold the 3-bets around here on PLOker hands. He actually folds to a 3-bet. You'd fold that hand, right?
I would. I mean, you should, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an especially good, although actually, so if you look at stacks, it's an extra good spot for you because Wayne's the short stack and Amir's deeper with you. So if they do both call, you're just in a really good stack situation. And actually, that's also a reason for Wayne to get involved more than he otherwise would. His hand is still not great for it, but very often what can happen if he has, like this quality hand, but without like Ace Jack, like lower cards, is you can c-bet and he can shove, and Amir has to, like, you'll get it in with aces against his whatever, and Amir folds a hand that has good equity because he just can't get it in deep with you.
So you think that Wayne should think about shoving with some hands and call it like...
Well, calling with some hands. Like, I think you should call pretty wide here, but his hand specifically is a good fold.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think like what if it was Ace Jack 9-4 with Ace 9 of clubs, would I call? I mean, I think I'm going to fold that hand too, just because I think he's going to think I'm a little bit more aggressive here pre-flop, but I'm still not going to be that out of line with my 3-betting side. Even though, I mean, I am trying to play pots against Amir, obviously, because we are deeper here, so I might be 3-betting a little bit more than normal. But either way, I'm not really expecting Wayne to fold here ever, so I'm kind of expecting to end up getting money in all in against him, even though he has sub 100 big blinds to start this hand with the straddle on.
Yeah, but that said, I would get kind of out of line in your spot. I mean, you can't just 3-bet trash, but even some of the, like a 10 high single suited rundown that you're not happy to get a lot of money in with Wayne, just because of the 3-handed stack situation, it works out so nicely for you that I would get a little out of line.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, because if I do 3-bet, Wayne calls, Amir calls, and then it goes to a flop, what oftentimes is going to happen is if I decide to bet, Wayne's going to commit his stack right there, and then it goes back to Amir, who's kind of in an awkward spot with that money in pre-flop too. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's kind of some spots you can look for. You can kind of do it online, not as really as much, I feel like, but live, definitely you can do that a lot. And I think that's something that people probably don't look for enough in live poker is, okay, how can I sort of manipulate my range here to maybe open up a little bit with having position on a player I'm deep stack with. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that makes live poker really unique, I think, is just this deeper stack play. And online, we don't really see that too often where you're super deep.
Yeah. No,
So-
it's definitely, I mean, in general, the thing to figure out, well, situations like this where you might have be able to play a hand in a different way than normal because of whatever factors. It's important to think about spots that you've been in that are really uncomfortable, and then why they were uncomfortable.
Right.
And so we've all been in Amir's shoes where it goes call here, and then it goes bet shove, and he's got top pair and bottom open ender, and he's just well, I have to either fold away good equity or I have to potentially run into Joey's huge hand and get it in dead.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it is a good spot for you to get a little out of line. But like you said, win short, you don't want to get it in bad.
Yeah. So I do decide. So I 3-bet. Wayne folds. Amir, back to Amir. He has ace jack 8-7 with the jack 7 diamonds. I mean, to me, I hate folding, but I probably fold this hand out of position, especially against an aggressive player. But I mean, I can understand the call too. That's what it is. I don't hate the call. I've certainly made worse calls in my life. So, but yeah, so he does decide to call, and yeah, let the fireworks begin. Let's see the flop. All right, so flop comes down 10-8-4 rainbow. I have top pair, backdoor, one backdoor quad draw, backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, and Amir has the gut shot straight with middle pair and backdoor Bangkok blocker, aka the backdoor nut flush blocker. Backdoor Bangkok's enough, backdoor nut flush Bangkok with the lady. It is what it is. So Amir checks, and Phil, in this situation here, so we're about 200 big blinds deep, pot's 555. We got top pair against a player who I think at this point, actually, I thought I saw him get out of line with one hand when I watched back the replay. So I thought that he might have been a little bit more capable of potentially making a play against me specifically. So, and you're in this situation, check to you. What do you like to do here?
I would check back. It's just too, if you bet and get shoved on, you have to fold. And there's too great a risk. If he's even somewhat unknown that he's just going to shove a hand, if he shoves Queen Jack 10 or Jack 10 9 and you just throw away a lot of equity, I would check and use position on future streets.
And that's kind of the exact same thing I was thinking. So we're gonna play the hand. I do end up checking back here, and let's go ahead. Let's see the turn. All right, so turn comes down, king of clubs, and I'm not showing the action to Phil. What I do first, I'm gonna get curious what Phil decides to do, and then we're gonna play out my decision. So I have top two pair, gut shot straight draw with the club blocker potentially for the flush. Amir turns a double gutter, and he decides to lead out 300 to 555. And I guess we'll talk about my play first. So what do you think that I should do in this situation? What would you do in this situation with a strong hand like this?
In this spot, I would raise. I don't think it's entirely standard, but the fact that he bets 300 into 555, I am going to read into that. On a board this draw heavy, people that that have a very strong hand, just that is very comfortable putting full pot in on a board this draw heavy, tend to lean towards full pot. I obviously don't know his sizing habits, but I do think it makes it a lot more likely that he has a marginal hand that he's protecting or a draw that he's semi-bluffing with. And so I would feel, not that I'm ever really worried with King 10, but it is a lot of money to get in. You're pretty deep. I would feel good enough based on his sizing to raise pretty confidently.
So what kind of range are you going to be putting Amir on here?
I think he can definitely have some 10-8 hands. I could see King Queen Jack type hand. Definitely flush draws of all kinds. I mean, as far as sizing with a semi-bluff, I'm not actually going to read too much into his sizing. Sometimes people will want to bet larger with, when they want to make you fold, but at the same time, sometimes people want to bet larger with their stronger hands and like to bet small to see a river to price themselves in. With a hand like this. So yeah, his draws could come in all varieties. The smaller sizing does make me think it's a little more likely that he has a showdown plus draw, so a King Queen Jack or a king with clubs, something like that.
Yeah, I think what I was thinking in the moment was I am an aggressive player, so I'm going to be c-betting pretty often. So when I check back, I'm kind of saying I have aces or something like that. I'm saying I have a hand that isn't that strong. And I think what he's trying to do here is he has a semi-bluff here with the double gutter. He probably doesn't ever expect me to really raise him here. He probably thinks I'm going to c-bet most of my kings if I have kings on the flop. So I think he just thinks my range is weak. He can bet here and then potentially bet the river if I just call here and a number of different boards. And sometimes he does he improves his hand.
Looking at his actual hand too, what might be happening is he doesn't want to check call. and he doesn't want to check fold.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people will, with a middling hand that they're like, this has good equity, but not great equity. And if I check and face a bet, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They just bet, and not have to face that spot.
That's something I don't think I have in my game plan. I don't think I really. I don't know. What do you think about that overall plan or strategy in general?
So a lot of times it happens for like a bad reason, and so most people do it, I think, just because they're trying to avoid something uncomfortable, which is not a good reason in and of itself. But usually, if a situation might become uncomfortable, there is a reason for it. And so if you have a hand that's in a very difficult spot when facing a bet after you check, then you do end up either potentially check folding some good equity, or check calling with a call that you shouldn't make, and those are good candidates. Like that's a good place to start,
right,
to decide, oh, maybe I should semi bluff with this hand, but you shouldn't always. But it's a good place to start, I think.
Yeah, I think kind of a situation dependent. If you think I might be over folding here, then I feel like this is a decent hand to work in there too. The sizing, I feel like that's a live poker thing where the sizes tend to size down a little bit differently. They go smaller here, so 300 into that 555. I think online, I guess maybe that's an online percentage size we might see if we're playing in an online setting too.
The thing is though, this board, regardless of your 3-betting range, you're usually gonna have some connected cards.
Right.
And this board is just one that is really hard to fold on.
Yeah, I know, it's really hard not to have a hand. Because even aces here, like you might have a jack or ace jack or ace 10 and might call once and see a 4 or an 8 or something like that on the board. So if you're gonna race here, what's the size that you like to make it? Because it's kind of like, I feel like it's an awkward situation where if I just pot, I mean, I don't know. I kind of am thinking maybe I might get into the situation with the mirror again. So I don't want to just be potting here all the time. I don't know if that's like, if I should really worry about that in a live poker setting without something I need to worry about being balanced. But I thought I had a very strong hand, and I didn't necessarily want him to fold. I kind of want him to continue with some marginal draws that I think he might fold if I bet the pot, or even a 2-pair hand.
Yeah, you really don't want him to fold 2-pair.
Right, that's kind of what I was thinking. If he's got like a king 8, maybe with like a gutter, I do not want him to fold that hand, and I want to try to get money in. So I guess, from sizing, what do you think about sizing?
Yeah, I like the idea of not going full pot, and I do think in this spot, and I mean, it's mostly true, but I think people put you on a hand that's going with it when you full pot. Like they just think you're never folding.
Right, exactly.
So you either have a monster draw or a made hand that you're going with. And so I do like raising smaller to make them think that potentially I don't.
That's kind of what I was thinking too here. So you're gonna see. I almost wish I just let you answer first before giving away why I did what I did here. But I was hoping like maybe it induces him to shove in here with some sort of like a draw, like a pair and a flush draw type of hand, or a pair and a gutter and a straight draw type of hand like that. So, or a pair of flush draw and a gutter.
Yeah, if you pot, he's like, people don't shove draws because they just think they have 0 fold equity.
Exactly. So that's kind of what I was going for here. So let's take a look at the hand here and see what I do. All right, so I make the raise to 1,075, and now we got to hear the commentary here while Amir was tanking. And Amir tanks down for a while. It looks like he's going to fold. I start talking to him a little bit. We start getting a little back and forth, and then he decides to call. But the commentators, Wayne, my boy Wayne and Feldman, they say if Amir shoves that I'm in a bad spot. Now, do you think that that is accurate or not? I mean,
so normally you don't want to get this much in with dry top 2, or essentially dry top 2, but no, given like, well, everything we talked about, like bet sizing, and especially now, I don't know, I don't think that he's acting like his tank seemed very genuine to me. So I would be putting it in fairly happily. It looks like you're really excited right now.
I was snap calling. They said I have a tough spot. No. My money was in the pot. My money was in the middle already, obviously. So, but Amir decides to call, and I kind of get what he's going for. He might think that I have set so he can potentially bluff some clubs. He can obviously make a hand. He can bluff a number of different straight cards: 6, 7, Jack, Ace. So yeah, I feel like I kind of get where he's coming from with the call. What do you think about his call?
Yeah, I mean, I get it as well, and you laid him a bit of a price too, but he does have to worry about the fact that, given you have probably a reasonable hand to 3-bet, even if you are raising King 10 specifically, your 2 side cards are going to connect with some of the cards that he's going to try to bluff.
Yeah.
So I think probably he's going to be losing here with this call, especially without like a club blocker, because I would want to be able to bluff clubs.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, you can see here you have ace jack, which puts him in extra bad shape, and he still has 20% equity. He's getting whatever it is, 2.5 to 1. I don't know. So it's not even like this is a pretty bad case scenario, and it's not even that bad for him. It's just that with the exception of hitting his straight, he's going to be uncomfortable.
Well, he calls, and let's see what happens here on the river, guys.
Set of eights, because it's really, even with a set of eights, like obviously Joey very well could have a set of kings, given that he 3-betted pre. He just makes the call.
It's probably the worst option, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's going for. There aren't that many.
Is he gonna
good
bluff
rivers.
some rivers?
Yeah, once you decide to do that, you have to have a plan of what to do on the river.
And now he makes 2 pair, and so it's almost like his hand is too good to bluff at this point.
Yeah.
Joey has better 2 pair.
When you make a play like that, you should already predetermine what rivers you're going to donk bet as a bluff. Otherwise, it's just...
Now, if Hammer were to shove here, I think Joey would have to fold. Oh my God! He does pot it.
He does do it, yeah.
All right, so river comes down, offsuit jack, and Amir thinks about it, shoves pretty quickly for about 2,700. Full pot, essentially putting himself all in, and I have the 3 pair. I got the fader holes here, and yeah, what do you think here?
It's a sick shove.
I know, it's crazy. It's a crazy hand, huh?
You don't want to have the king, the jack, and the 10 in your hand. Those are bad cards to have. It looks very crazy. They pointed out that he has 2 pair, maybe too strong of a hand to bluff. His 2 pair doesn't have much showdown value now, so it's to his credit that he realized that he still has a bluffing hand here. A lot of people would just shy away because their hand. He does have a couple of blockers.
He works at Facebook. That's why they hired him. I think for Facebook, for the software side of things, or for the tech side of things, because he's a smart kid. So he figured this one out.
So he has a couple of good blockers. He also can consider like ace, king, queen. You're probably not raising the turn with.
True.
Queen, jack, 9. You're probably betting the flop with. There are a lot of straights they get here that you're unlikely to have.
Right.
With like ace, queen with clubs or something, then yeah.
Even that hand. I mean, I think I'd raise the turn, but I don't think I'd always raise the turn with just a 1 pair type of hand and guttering a flush draw. Because I think he would have 2 pair. Then if I only have 1 pair, I think he's going to have 2 pair often enough there.
Yeah. So normally, there are a lot of straights to complete that he should worry about, especially when he blocks 2 of the pair as well. But I think in this case, it's reasonably unlikely that you have the straight, and so I think this is an effective bluff spot. It helps that he unblocks clubs, but yeah, I think it's.
So what do you do in my spot here?
I think you have to fold. Like your blockers are really bad, with the exception of the ace, but it's the ace of clubs,
which is pretty bad. I mean, I think it's bad. I think it's bad, but I'm trying to think of how bad I think to have an ace of clubs is, because
you want an ace, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to have clubs, but he might not always have the kind of nut clubs. He might decide to re-raise on the turn with some of his nut club combination of hands. So just trying to think how bad or very bad is it to have ace of clubs here.
Probably not. I mean, overall, I would rather have the ace of clubs than the deuce of hearts. Like the ace blocker matters a lot. The club works against you a little bit, but still
not as big as just the ace. Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, your blockers are very poor.
So here's the question I'm thinking in this spot. I was trying to figure out. I have the ace, so I'm like, he doesn't have ace queen. So I was trying to think, does he? That's it. He doesn't have ace queen. I got the ace. He doesn't have ace queen. That's it. And I have king jack 10, which blocks ace queens. I mean, in my mind, I'm saying I just don't think he has ace queen that often. My question is, would he shove 7-9? And if he would shove 7-9, I probably should fold, because I think he's capable of having 2 pair with a 7-9 type of hand.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think he's going to shove queen 9 here.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, would he shove 7-9? And what do you think he would shove 7-9 here?
I don't know. I would lean towards no, but I don't know him. He certainly could. I would not have expected him to bluff with this hand. So that's what I would worry about, only blocking 1 club, that a lot of his draws connect in a way like this, where they have 2 pair. Like one of the main hands I'm looking to pick off is like a queen jack 10. But would he bluff with queen jack 10? I mean, apparently, probably, but I would expect a lot of people not to. So I'm leaning pretty heavily towards a fold, actually. because I expect him to not bluff with 2-pair, to not have a lot of 1-pair or worse, and because your blockers are so poor.
Well, Phil, let's see what I did. Let's take a look.
That makes it really tough call.
I mean, King
Yeah,
King
he lays
and
it down.
King King and King Jack 10. It's not that much different of a hand.
Oh, he pulls it back.
Uh-oh, live reads.
I'm gonna call him AJ from now on.
All right, so as Feldman says, Amber lays down the hammer. I make the fold, and yeah, kind of.
I like the fold. I mean,
Sigh, sad though. Still looking back, I'm that sad. So, but yeah, guys, that was our first video we're recording here for PLOker hands. And let me know what you guys think in the play. Do you do anything differently on the flop? Do you like maybe make a bet on the flop? And give me kind of your thoughts on the situation. If you watch this whole video, first of all, you're crazy. Second of all, let us know what you think. And much love. We'll be back soon. Take care. Peace out.